What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 52 of our Atalanta career mode, and today, some big things. Of course, we are going to go through deadline day, and I have a feeling we are going to have a busy deadline day, and then we will move into September and get into this Verona game and maybe our first Champions League against CSKA Moscow. And as you can see, this is our Champions League group: Moscow, Liverpool, and Celtic. So it's not awful. I would have obviously liked to avoid Liverpool, but you know, it is what it is, and we're gonna have to deal with it going forward. But today we've upped the difficulty. Last episode, obviously, we've started the season with 2 draws from 2, one for Milan and one with Brescia. The new difficulty is a little bit tough, so today I believe we are going to go big in the transfer market. We have a ton of money to spend, and I think we're going to go midfield and left back. I think that's where we're headed. You know, it is what it is. It's going to have to be what it's going to have to be. And as you can see, we've gotten a couple left backs on here. Saka is a really good option. I don't know what they want for Saka. That is the current issue. But Saka would be, to me, the ideal one. One of you guys have lauded him up a lot. Saka would be ideal for 1 or 2 reasons. Obviously, number 1 being a left back who can come in and really do a number for us at left back. But Coutinho has to be 29 now. Someone's going to have to replace him on that left-hand side. Obviously, we bought Giovanni Reina in, and he's growing and things like that. But Saka could, by at that point, really be ready to jump into that left wing wall, and then we may be able to go out and buy another left back, or maybe Kasache would have come of age by then. So that is probably my main reason for going after someone like Saka. And then, of course, a midfielder. We have a couple down here. Naby Keita still at Liverpool, Frank Kessie at Milan, Yuri Tielemans still at City, or Leicester City, of course. Rabiot still at Juventus. And then Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, probably a little bit out there in terms of bringing him in. As you can see, 75 to 100 million, 42 to 59 for Rabiot, 46 to 60 for Tielemans. That's probably where I want to go. At the moment, my ideal would be Tielemans and Saka. Those would be my 2. After Tielemans, I'm thinking Naby Keita, and then Mendy. Who may, you know, you never know with Real Madrid. They kind of just continue to buy players, and if it doesn't work out, they sell them off, get a new one in. So maybe Mendy hasn't gotten the best goal or best time there. Naby Keita may be in a similar position at Liverpool. There are a couple players here. Jose Guy at West Ham may want to move back up. So there are a lot of options here. Deadline day is going to be crazy, but we are going to attempt to bring Saka in right now. Don't know anything about him. That is the current issue. So we'll see. I don't know what his overall is and things like that. We can't really go into it. We're just going to have to kind of go into this hoping. I mean, everyone would pay 24 million for him right now. They only want 27 million with the sell-on clause. That's not too bad. I'll go with 27 million without the sell-on clause. They'll bring it up to 33. It's quite of a jump. 30 million. That's comfortable. I am comfortable with 30 million for Bukayo Saka. Hopefully he tells us what he wants to get paid. He's obviously on that Premier League money. He's going to be a starter here. We're going to find out how far along he's come. He's still only 19, of course. So I'm not too bad with that. We're going to go with rotation to start and see what he says. He wants to be important. That's fine, because he is probably going to get important minutes. Wants 5 years. No release clause. And he only wants 30K a week. I'm just going to accept that. Move forward with it. Comfortable enough for Bukayo Saka. And a lot of you have mentioned him. And now he's been bought into the club. Him and Kasache will tango back and forth for that left back starting spot. As you can see, 80 overall already, 81 dribbling, 89 pace. We're just going to train him on defending a little bit, but it's not too bad, is it? Who do we move backward just a little bit? Maldini probably. I don't want to take Ben Sabani off because he can play left back and center back. So we'll just straight swap Saka out. Who do I just want to move Kasache up a touch. We'll move him ahead of Satalo. And that'll be that. So we'll move Satalo back down as well. I just want to make sure we're always looking at our options. Sometimes when they're too low down there, they kind of get lost. You don't want that to happen, of course. What are we looking at in midfield? We're looking at a midfielder. Who do we have in midfield right now? We have Malinovsky, Mandragora, Sanchez, Kovalenko, Robertson. We'll have 6 players for 2 spots, really. Couple players maybe move back a little bit. Robertson is probably going to be the player to lose out in terms of game time should we bring in another midfielder. You know, it happens. It's just one of those things. Let's go back to the transfer hub. Actually, we won't move onto that just yet. We'll go forward a little bit. You know what I may do? I may just let Robertson leave. He's a good player, of course, Robertson, but he does have his shortcomings, and we didn't pay too much for him. He is 24. We're gonna add him to the transfer list just to see what happens. I didn't do that to Malinovsky. Yeah, Robertson. So we'll let Robertson sit there. If he gets a good enough bid, we may let him go. But we do want to go ahead and bring in another midfielder. As I said, Tielemans is probably the man. 46 to 60 million. I'm comfortable playing that. He's a really good player. Let's see what we can do here. Offer transfer fee. We're just gonna... Where are we gonna start? We'll start at 48. It's probably going to be a bit low, but there it is, 59%, or 59 million. We're going to remove the sell-on clause, propose a new fee. We'll go with 56. See how comfortable they are with that. They are comfortable with that. 56 million pounds for Yuri Tielemans. Let's see what he wants in wages, but he is a really, really good player. Is he going to... He's a player, I think, who can play on the right side. I think he's athletic enough that he can play there where Sanchez plays as well. I think Tielemans is, at the moment, going to come in for Mandragora, but we'll see how it goes to start here. He wants to be crucial. Fair enough. 5 years, the contract. He is still only 24, which is good. No release clause. What is he on? He's on £100,000 a week. We'll go with 80. 400,000 in signing. Fair with that. He's comfortable with it. And we have done the business. 2 big signings in at the club. Robertson's going to move off. And we're going to bring Tielemans into the starting lineup. Mandragora is going to take Robertson's spot here. Don't want Robertson going really out of the way or anything just yet. We'll swap him in for him at the moment. We'll move him forward for Hoover. Alright, so I think that's pretty good. Tielemans, a new starter in. There are 2 new starters in on deadline day, really. And a potential, really, obviously, is what we're looking for to have Saka eventually move up. Let's take a look at Coutinho really quickly. I believe he's 29. He should be declining relatively soon. He is 29, but he's still growing pretty well, obviously. Hopefully, that decline doesn't come too soon, but we have the backup plan in that spot should something come about. And, you know, we'll have to see there as Lukaku goes to Real Madrid for £90 million. It's quite a bit of money. We'll take a look at some of the top deals this window. Offers coming for Osimhen at only 40 million, which is ridiculous nonsense. Osimhen, top league goal scorer last year by a huge margin, worth more than the 40 million. A lot of money being spent here. Total spent today, 704 million pounds, 760 million. Nothing that out. Yeah, here we go. Another 100 million spent. Loan offer for Cunha from Lazio. Cunha is going to stay and be a part of this team. We do, as I said, have to make sure that we are training. We have to be training Saka for defensive work, which should, you know, come relatively quickly for him. 921 million with 3 hours still to go. Napoli have come in with a bid for Robertson. How much does he think he's worth? Between 20 and 30 million. That's still decent money. We only paid 10-ish or 12, between 10 and 14 or something like that. Very low. We're going to make money on him, but he's definitely not going to Napoli for that kind of money. Looks like we're going to get over $1 billion here. Interest is shown, and Wolves have made a bid here. Let's just delegate this at 34. Let's see what they say. He can obviously, like last year we had a ton of bids come in after deadline day. In our first week of September, we were doing more of the work than we were on this final day, as we've passed £1.1 billion on deadline day. An offer is coming for Simicon, 36 million. He is growing quite a bit, Simicon. He's turning into something now, as you can see. 41 and 60 million is what our assistant thinks he should be going for. A ton of money there. Let's take a look at the transfers before we end this window. The top deals. Obviously, Lukaku going. Martial to Manchester City for 82 million. Depay to Leipzig for 72. Someone we looked at for a while. Odegaard to United for 65. Son to Paris for 62. Pepe off to Atletico Madrid for 60. Tielemans, and then Bailey to Bayern. Always seems like that's how it's going. Fekir to Real Madrid. Goretzka to Juve. Juve continue to pile up. Anything huge in here? Ziyech has moved to Real Madrid. Lo Celso to Barca. Ceballos to Napoli. Thurman to Lyon for 46 million. It's a lot of money. Hermoso has moved on to Paris. Benfica have let Diaz go to Spurs. Cucurella to Napoli for 42 million pounds. Anyone else? Down here, a little bit crazy. Eder Militao has gone to Brighton for 40 million pounds. That is a wild one. Brighton have also bought a Niehaus from Wolves for 40 million, 40-ish million. Loftus-Cheek to Milan. Yusuf Poulsen to Everton. Firpo to Liverpool. Lodi has gone to Juventus, someone we were obviously just looking at. Oh, well, he went to Juventus at the beginning of the window then. Oh. Didn't notice that bit. Alderweireld at 32, still going to Juventus for 30 million. Koundé, of course. Rocca to Leicester. Angelino to Monaco. So yeah, a lot of players moving around in this window. Anything else crazy? Matip has gone to Lyon after leaving Dortmund. A lot of movement for Joel Matip. Pretty wild stuff there. We have some big old transfers moving. As you can see, 1.1 billion spent on deadline day, which is an absurd amount of money. Notifications have gone a little bit crazy there. Broken down negotiations. They're not willing to pay that price, and that is fair enough. You never really know how some of these are going to come along. It is what it is. We're comfortable keeping Robertson here. He just may not play as much as he did last year. Offer is coming for Popov. See, this is what happened last time out, though Popov will not be going anywhere. We've done well to bring him along. He's getting better, well, obviously getting better, but we don't want him going anywhere. And though he may be third choice now, he's still going to get his game time. He's still going to be playing pretty well. As an offer comes in for Robertson from Bayern for 22 million. We're just going to delegate, do the same thing we did last time, except it's on 32. This time around, we'll see what they say. 32 million for, what, sixth choice, I guess, in midfield. But behind the other players is, I mean, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Gabriel Xavier wants out of the youth team. What are we looking at? Who is got? We have a lot of, well, we don't have, yeah, goalkeepers. 85 to 91, 86 to 92. We'll promote him to the senior team. That's fine. We can promote the others, really, but at the moment, we don't need to. Let's go to the squad hub and make sure one of those goalkeepers can possibly find a loan. 68, Moretti doing well. We'll let him go out on loan if need be. Moretti, of course, growing. We're growing him along right now. Let's take a look at our development here. Want Ataran still to grow his stamina a little bit. Who do we get rid of here? Greco, Cunha, Barrow, Moretti, Ataran. What do we get rid of on here? Do we get rid of Moretti? We can get rid of Moretti's for now, and then we'll just make sure that Saka just gets his defensive work up a little bit. Defending. There we go. Yeah, that just needs to get up at left back. It just does. And hopefully he can do it relatively quickly. Get him in the 70s, mid-70s, or lower 80s on those things before we can move him out. So let's jump into this. How long has this gone? To 16 minutes, this video. Not as long as or a little bit longer than I thought. So we're going to play this one Verona game before we end this video. And then hopefully next time round, we'll be back to our 3 games an episode thing, guys. But for now, let's jump into it. Verona, Atalanta. Let's go. Nicely defended there by Saka. Back across, nicely done. Here's Draxler. Slips back inside, and Draxler continues to hold his man off. Slips it across, and Osimhen's going to get a tap in. Excellent from Draxler there. And Osimhen thankfully ran across the face of goal. Both defenders were drawn over there, and Osimhen took off on the back of it. Nicely done by Draxler, and he holds off, and then just slips it across. And it's a tap in right in front of goal for Osimhen here. And we've taken a 1-0 lead on 12 minutes. Really poor giveaway there. Galeno finds Draxler, and can we be in a second time here? And Draxler, an incredibly quick double. 2-0. 2 goals in a minute and a half, really. A really poor giveaway, and Draxler made the run. And he's also finished it off sublimely. Right into that bottom corner. Excellent finish. And a quick-fire double here. Draxler involved both times. Excellent, excellent, excellent. 2-0. Saka on it. Gets it back inside here. It's a good turn inside. And he finds Draxler right through the middle here. And Draxler, it's a decent save. I really don't know what the back line is like. It seems like there's that gap all the time. So I think they're just playing 3 at the back and 5 in midfield. I want to say that's how that's going because the back line is really spread out. Nicely played right through the gap. It's good football here. Plays into space. Nice football. Excellent football. What a save by Nubel. It's going to come back. What a block on the line from Tavares. Oh my god, what a block. That was an excellent, excellent move from Verona. I kept dragging players into spaces to try and find a way out. I'm going to try and find a way to the ball. As Tielemans is going to go, and he scores on his debut, and he ends this game. It could have been 2-1 at the other end. A great save and a great clearance off the line by Tavares. Goalkeeper beaten. And Tavares brings it back, and we go right up the other end, and Tielemans there, making the run from midfield, and on his debut, grabs a debut goal. That's an excellent, excellent finish from the former Leicester City man. And he has surely just sealed this up. 56 minutes gone. What a turnaround that play was. Slip backwards. Diaz. He slip it through to Ataran. He can. And Ataran does well. Excellent from Ataran. Here's Galeno. Galeno's a little bit tired, but doing the best he can. He can slip it back. And it's Tielemans. It's in the back of the net off the post. And Yuri Tielemans on his debut from midfield, grabbing his second goal of the day. He's on that right-hand side. We bought Mandragora on, and Tielemans is on the other side. And we're going to see how that works as well, because Tielemans can definitely do that job that Sanchez does. He's got the athletic ability. That's a heck of a finish. And what a debut for the Belgian. 4-2. Or 4-0. He's got 2. Galeno. Slipped into space. Nicely done. It's good football here. Osimhen does well. He finds Galeno, and Galeno can't quite get it to Ataran. There's a minute to go here. We are going to come away with a very impressive victory, our first of the season. And Ataran slips back inside. He wants a goal for himself. Gets it back to Mandragora, though, who should really be doing better, but a very impressive victory here. We're off the mark in terms of wins. Obviously, our first two results not where we wanted them to be. And we turned it around here. 4-0 the final as we run over Verona. And that sequence that made it 3-0 really changed the game around, didn't it? We had a chance there, or they had a chance there to make it 2-1, and we went right up the other end and made it 3-0. A huge, huge change there, and every year with this UEFA Presents thing. Otherwise, I'm going to get bloody banned. Or the video's going to get banned, at least. No, don't play the music. Everything is such a pain. Absolute pain with that. It doesn't have to be that serious. But yes, a win. A big win. We're going to check how that leaves us. But next episode, as you can see, we start our Champions League campaign in a pretty tough group. I mean, that's relatively even. In real life, that would be relatively even. Outside of Liverpool, you would think. All right, and Atalanta are a proper good team. You would expect them to finish second too, but just altogether, that's a pretty even team. But as you can see, here we are, and Juventus have started off with 2 draws as well. That doesn't happen very often. They've gone away to Roma and drew, and then they beat Torino, and then drew at home to Napoli. They've had some tough games to start. Bologna and Fiorentina both on 9, but the big dogs actually not starting off perfect, which is obviously great for us. So that win is very much needed. So next episode, though, we will be playing Moscow, and then Juve, and then Inter. So that is a humongous set of games, and hopefully you guys tune into that. But for now, that is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you folks have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more. And peace.